What is up, Crockxen clan members, Poke fans, Elysian League fans, and others who saw upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen here, and as requested by one of the league members, Afonso, thank you very much, I set it up to a vote to see how many people actually wanted to make previews for Season 7, and 16 people voted yes, 2 didn't vote at all, so here we are. So starting off the Rainbow Rocket conference, I have the Lovebirds, Cupchew, and Zhu. Now I don't actually know if they're dating, but that's going to be the running joke for these two, so take it and leave it. Now I actually really like the teams from both of these players. I do feel like Cupchew has the better Zmons though. Salamence and Drapion over Weavile and Toxicroak, and also Cupchew has access to Golurk, which has a decent amount of coverage there. I don't really know, like, what Weavile, maybe Dark type, possibly Gong Shot, but for the most part, I feel like Cupchew has the better Zmons, because Salamence, with one Dragon Dance, pretty much outspeeds most of her team, although she does have that Whimsicott, which is great. I do feel like it's going to be a tough matchup for each of them. One, they can't Volt Switch. It's actually a bad idea for them to Volt Switch, because they both have a Mon that literally negates electric type moves. Zhu has a Jolteon, which, as we all know, has Volt Absorb, and Cupchew has Manectric, which has Lightning Rod. So one of them heals up with electric moves, and the other one gets a special attack raise. Neither one of them, that's basically a waste of turn, so you don't want to do that. But they do both have U-turners, which is very, very good. I see Staraptor as well as Mesprit on Zhu's side, and then you have Victini. And I don't remember correctly off the top of my head if Hawlucha gets U-turn, but I know for a fact that Victini does. So they both have access to switch advantage. I feel like in terms of hazard control, Zhu has a little bit of an edge in there because she has 2 potential rock setters and a spinner, whereas Cupchew's stuck with Metagross. Because, I mean, you don't really want to run hazards on Omastar if you're going to use him as a sweeper. So, I feel... And then, other than that, Tapu Fini is a great defogger. And Tapu Fini is actually the main reason why I feel like Cupchew might win this. The fact that he has literally, like, what, 4 setup Mons here? You have Tapu Fini that can help Hawlucha, which, whatever the heck the water seed or the psychic seed... No, not the psychic seed. Whatever the seed is that helps him... in the misty terrain, that immediately uses up his item, which means he gets his Unburden boost. You have Omastar, which has Shell Smash. You have Salamence, which has Dragon Dance. Metagross has access to Agility. I feel like he might have an edge in terms of that. Plus the fact that he has Mega Venusaur, which, aside from Staraptor, I don't see Zhu being able to do much against it. Entei's not going to be doing much damage, especially if he goes physically defensive. And even without that much special defense, just Lapras isn't going to be doing any damage to it whatsoever, and neither is Weavile. So literally she only has Staraptor to take care of that, but there's 2 Mons that prevent Staraptor from doing anything, and that's Golurk and Metagross. I mean, Metagross can't really take too much of a Choice Banded close combat, but Golurk doesn't care about that. In fact, Golurk is immune to all of Staraptor's greatest moves except for U-turn, which is literally just you switching out. Doesn't really help you much there. Overall, I do want to say, because Zhu, I think, is still fairly new to the competitive battling, and I've seen Cupchew do a lot of work throughout the seasons, I'm going to give him the slight edge. I'm thinking a possibly 2-0 victory. If he brings Salamence, I feel like Salamence is going to be the clutch Mon that's going to win him the game. Other than that, I feel like Hawlucha, if it has the opportunity to set up, I feel like Hawlucha is the thing that's going to beat her. Because she only has 1 priority Mon, or, well, she has 2, but she's not going to bring both Lapras and Weavile. So I don't see you taking down this Hawlucha if it has the chance to set up his Unburden boost. So I feel like Cupchew has this just slightly, but I'm always looking for surprises. Okay, so next up we have Matrix versus Craft. This is the Sand team versus the all-around random crap team. But I mean, it still looks very good. I'm not gonna deny Craft's team looks very, very solid, but I feel like it's very random. Whereas Matrix feels like he has a cohesive team setup. Now, the first thing I do want to say is that as soon as Latias is dead, Excadrill is gonna have a field day, and I'm gonna say Excadrill as in Latias being removed because this is a sand team, so more than likely it's gonna be running Sand Rush, which I would highly recommend because a lot of Craft's team is decently fast. You have Chandelure, Diancie. Well, that's regular Diancie, so it's not as fast. Latias as well. Scolipede has speed boost, Mega Lopunny. A lot of decently fast mons, and then you got Kartana in there. So I more than likely expect to see Sand Rush Excadrill, which means you don't have Mold Breaker, which means you can't hit Latias. A big thing to note here, though, is that he needs to be careful with setup mons, because he has an Azumarill. He also has that Excadrill, which can run Swords Dance, Mega Latios. You don't want to use Dragon Dance, because Craft does have a Ditto, and you know how Ditto loves to be able to copy things. I feel like he has a decent matchup, though, because, like I said, as long as Latias is dead, Excadrill pretty much has a field day. I do recommend you be careful of having a mon. Like, if you're gonna, obviously, like I said, Excadrill is your main winner here. If he copies your Excadrill with Ditto, this is Craft, so he might be weird and have like an air balloon or something. I recommend you have an item or at least a moveset that's not going to hinder your other mons. So like maybe you don't have something that hits Shaman or Mega Latios, for example. Heck, I think Rotom is also a decent option. But the problem is you kind of need Rock Slide in order to hit the Scolipede. Because like I don't feel like Earthquake is going to do a decent amount to it. Which means I would actually highly recommend you have Rock Slide just so you can do more damage to it. The other thing, so because of that, you're gonna be risking Latios. She's gonna have to take a Rock Slide. Rotom Heat is probably gonna have to take a Rock Slide. So your best shot is to make sure that you don't have something that will damage your Shaman, because at that point you're really risking getting reverse swept by a Ditto. Like nobody ever wants to deal with that. I feel like the Z-Mons are fairly evenly distributed. You have Matrix has Z, Belly Drum, and Azumarill. I don't really know what Shaman has in terms. I mean, Shaman does have a variety of moves, but I don't know what you would use for a Z Crystal for. Miss Magius is good because you have Nasty Plot plus Never Ending Nightmare, which is amazing. Whereas if you look at Craft's side, he has Scolipede, which is very, very great. I know that it gets Aqua Tail, so Hydro Vortex is going to be doing a lot of damage if he needs to in the future. I don't see it doing much here because Mega Horn kind of does a lot better job than Aqua Tail would ever do, so I don't see that being too much of a use. Diancie, I think you could pull off like Z Trick Room, I guess. I don't really know what Diancie does with Z Crystals. I mean, you have a very powerful like what's that one? The Twinkle Tackle, is that the fairy one? I mean, that's decently well, but again, unless you're targeting to kill Latios, I don't see the benefit of having that. And then you have Skuntank, which, again, Skuntank is weird. Skuntank is a weird Pokemon. I don't even know what kind of coverage it gets because I've never used it. But I see Skuntank being more of a pursuit trapper for Latios, so I can't really see too much in terms of that mechanic. I do want to say I give probably Matrix a little bit better in terms of hazards because not only does he have Tyranitar for setting up rocks, he has a Garbodor which has access to Toxic Spikes. And besides Scolipede, like if Scolipede goes down, those Toxic Spikes are going to stay unless you basically risk Latias coming in. And the problem with letting Latias come in is that at that point, like, you have Matrix has a lot of options because you can pursuit trap Latias. If you have a especially defensive T-Tar, Latias is not going to be doing much to you, which means the Latias comes out, your Tyranitar is in, it's over. I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to that Kartana there, because if you run like what is it as a timid, I think you run a timid Kartana with Swords Dance, and you can do a lot of work if you just need one kill, and you have I think it got a lot of moves this Ultra Sun Ultra Moon games, so I can see Cartana putting in a lot of work here, but just the composition of the teams alone, I do want to give a slight edge to Matrix. Like I said, I feel like his team is a more cohesive, and I can see a lot of the things that it can do. And like I said, as soon as Latias is dead, Excadrill literally sweeps most of the rest of your team. If it gets a Swords Dance up after Ditto is dead, if you don't even bring Ditto, which is another thing, Excadrill can literally click Swords Dance in the sand and it's over. Like literally everything is just dead. Latias has to go away, and then your Ditto, if it's not brought, then Excadrill literally sweeps the entire team. So which is why I recommend Craft to bring Ditto, just so you can copy Excadrill. But it needs to be careful because Excadrill is a monster by itself. So if he's able to stop your Ditto, then I think Excadrill literally wins this game. Other than that, Matrix, I recommend you be careful for setting up ahead of time because the Ditto is there, and I know Ditto is a very scary mon. I do like Mega Lopunny. It does a lot of damage to the team, but there's just Excadrill. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, a Jolly Excadrill outspeeds Mega Lopunny in the sand. On top of the fact that he does have an Azumarill, which does a lot of damage to Mega Lopunny. It's able to deal a lot with Mega Lopunny's hits if it's more on the bulky side. And I'm pretty sure that Mega Latios is able to take some hits from Mega Lopunny. So I'm excited to see. I expect maybe like a 1-0 victory for Matrix, but I can definitely see Craft pulling it from behind because he's a very crafty battler, pun intended. Next up, we have Afonso versus Sabacarp. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So we have Z Hypnosis guy versus, I'm gonna assume, Trick Room, because I feel like it looks like a Trick Room team, or it has the potential to be a Trick Room team. So first off, I want to talk about the Z-Mons here. We have Afonso has Circuitry, which, like I said, Z Hypnosis Mon. Honchkrow, which is very, very good because it has the ability to run a physical set with a special Z It has the opportunity to run a physical set with a special Z move because Honchkrow's special attack isn't bad for some reason. I looked it up as like base 103 or something like that. That's crazy. And then you have Cophagus, which is crazy because it can also set up Trick Room, which is not bad for the team that he has. With like Nasty Plot, Z, Never Ending Nightmare. That's crazy. But then you look at Sabacar's team, and I feel like her team does better as a Trick Room team. So it's gonna be one of those things where like the speed tiers are weird because Afonso has some decently fast mons if you have Garchomp, and then Circuitry if you set up the Z Hypnosis or whatever. Tapu Lele is fast, and then you have Lucario who's decently fast, and his Mega is Houndoom. All prominently very, very fast Pokemon, so I don't know if I would recommend using a Trick Room team unless he was going for like the lower tier mons. So you have like Simisage, Cophagus, Luminion, for some reason he has that Pokemon, Glaceon, stuff like that. But if you look at Sabacar's team, she has Slowbro that can set up Trick Room. I believe Umbreon has access to it. Do not quote me on that because I really do not know. And then Mimikyu has access to Trick Room as well. And her team actually benefits from Trick Room. Slowbro, if it's under Trick Room, can hit really, really hard because it's slow, but it has a decent special attack stat. And with I guess you can set up a Calm Mind, and then you go from there. Then you have Milotic, which is also decently well under Trick Room, because if you make it slow, it still hits very, very hard. And the positive thing here is that he needs Afonso has to be careful with his Smeargle. I do not recommend setting up Sticky Webs because Sabacarp could easily bring competitive Milotic, and that's not going to be fun, especially if it's under Trick Room. Umbreon obviously is going to be the cleric of this team. I feel like that's his only job at this point. I don't see him doing too much in terms of anything else. He's not going to be doing a lot of pursuit trapping here, considering the only mon that are weak to it are Cophagus and maybe Tapu Lele, but you're not going to stay in on a Tapu Lele because they could just click Moonblast and you're dead. And Cophagus doesn't really care because it's bulky enough to be able to take a pursuit anyways. And then you have Guzzlord. I think Guzzlord is one of the worst mons ever to be created. But under Trick Room, who knows? Maybe it could pull off something. I don't know. But here's the star. She has or he. I don't, Sabacarb, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, but I'm gonna make the assumption you're a girl. Okay, I'm sorry if that's not true. You can let me know in the comments or even in the Discord. She has Mega Mawile, and Mega Mawile under Trick Room is a monster. Okay, in general, Mega Mawile is a monster. Okay, this thing hits so hard. Oh my gosh! And because if you decide to run a Trick Room team, you don't need the speed, which means you literally just go HP, attack, and maybe a little bit of defense, or special defense, depending on which one you feel is a little bit better. I would honestly recommend special defense because most of the mons that would be hitting you, besides Garchomp, are going to be hitting you on the special side. And I really think that Mega Mawile is a great check to Tapu Lele. So I feel like it's your better chance to run it more specially bulky than anything else. But Mega Mawile hits so hard on the physical side, it's ridiculous. And under Trick Room, you're going to be doing a lot of work with that. Mimikyu, although it's decently fast, I've seen it run Trick Room, especially in VGC. So I know for a fact that it can work that. Plus, it has access to its signature Z move. I know for a fact that it's the Omni boosting move, so it's definitely allowed. I feel like Mimikyu was going to be very beneficial here. The problem is you can't run a lot of priority because there is a Tapu Lele potentially coming, which means all priority moves are basically dead. So you can't rely on that. But I still feel like even without priority, Mimikyu still hits hard, and the fact that you can use the Sword Stance under the Trick Room, you're gonna be doing very, very well. Roserade is also decently well. I feel like her team is built to be Trick Room. So if that's the case, I feel like she has an edge. I feel like Sabacarb has a huge edge in this match because of the fact that she has the potential to run a Trick Room team. Cophagus is the thing that might be stopping her because she does have a lot of ghost type, like mons that are weak to ghost type. So you have the Blade, Mimikyu, Frostlass, as well as Claydol. But then you have Guzzlord, so it's not too bad, and Umbreon as well. But like, I just don't think they're gonna be doing much to Cophagus because of how bulky it is. So I feel like Cophagus right now is the thing that's mainly like kind of a hindrance. But you do have a lot of options here, and with the Trick Room, you don't have. There's literally very few things you have to worry about. Because even Garchomp is fast, so if you're under Trick Room, no matter which one of your Pokemon is out, you can do a lot of damage to take care of that. And with, if you have to deal with Sticky Webs, that's great. And honestly, because I expect Sticky Web to come, I highly recommend having competitive on Milotic, because I don't see him statusing your Milotic very much. Looking at his team, he doesn't really spread status very often, barring like what? Cophagus with Will-O-Wisp, which, I mean, I don't feel like, against Mimikyu maybe, but like you have Magmortar as well, so that's an option, and you have a lot of special attackers that you can throw in there. So I don't see status being too much of a hindrance there. Because of that, I want to give advice to both teams, right? I don't want to seem biased. Don't bring Sticky Webs. I do not recommend them bringing Sticky Webs to this match. I highly recommend Stealth Rocks is going to be a lot more important for your team because you're going to have to wear these guys down. Maybe some sort of Toxic Spikes, because she does not have a way to get rid of them besides Roserade, and I don't think Roserade is coming because of the team you have. You have a lot of things that can deal with Roserade, so I don't see it coming. So I don't recommend bringing Sticky Webs because of the potential of Trick Room being a thing, and a competitive Milotic is going to be a mess. Considering it can take hits regardless of the Marvel Scale boost, I don't recommend doing that. The other thing is, Xurkitree is going to be a pain. I don't think you have a lot of things to deal with it, barring Guzzlord and Claydol, but Claydol also has to run the risk of being hit with HP Ice. Guzzlord can take those a little bit better because of the fact that he does have a little bit more bulk. But like, you literally have a Xurkitree weak team. So right now it's a toss-up for me. I don't know these players very much. I haven't seen them play before, so I don't know what their experience level is. But in my opinion, this is going to come up to a toss-up of whether the Trick Room is able to sustain itself enough to take out all the strong attackers on Afonso's side, or if Afonso can actually get Xurkitree going. Because I feel like that one mon is the biggest thing that's going to help him win the match. Whereas on Zabakarp's side, I feel like the Trick Room is what's gonna save her in this match. But it's a toss-up. Like I said, I don't really know these two guys. I don't know how they process themselves during the match. And I don't know what their level of experience. So I can't really say for sure who's going to win. All I know is that from the Afonso side, Xurkitry's the answer. On Sabakar's side, Trick Room is the answer. Last but not least, on the Rainbow Rocket Conference, we have Zach versus Yolder. Now, this one, this one's going to be a little bit tough for me to decide because there's a lot of factors here that are really, really annoying for me to judge, okay? So, I see some mons on Zach's side that can deal with a lot of things on Yolder's side, and then I see some very scary mons on Yolder's sides that deal with a lot of the things on Zach's sides and deal with a lot of things on Yolder's side. For one, Vikavolt. Vikavolt is scary against this team. It takes care of Celesteela. It can kill the Crocodile, like that. It has 2 moves that can kill Crocodile. It can deal with the Decidueye, it can deal with Gyarados, and it can Volt Switch on Heatran. But he does have the Togedemaru, which is the thing that kind of stops Vikavolt. You know, Togedemaru does have access to Lightning Rod. I don't know whether Zach will bring Togedemaru. He did classify it as a Zmon, so I'm assuming he's planning on bringing it sometimes. But the problem with bringing Togedemaru is that it's a free switch in to Hariyama, which is now no bueno. But the problem, then you switch back to, Hariyama. Well, I have a Mega Latias and a Decidueye and a Galvantula that can deal with that. You look at, Galvantula has access to Sticky Web, which you don't want on your side because you have Florges as your defogger, unless you're going to run defog on Latios. You do have Blastoise, but the problem with setting up Blastoise is that if you do go for the spin there, that's a free switch to Decidueye, who obviously is a spin blocker, and you're weak to it, which means there's going to be a lot of switching in this battle. I do want to say that Mega Latias and Decidueye are great defoggers, so it's kind of bad that you don't have a spinner and then you have a web setter. It seems counterintuitive. I don't know why you didn't try to go for a spinner if you were going to be running webs. Whereas if you look on the other side, he not only has a defogger, but he has a spinner, so that he can maintain his rocks on the side of. I think Amoonguss also gets toxic spikes. I do not know because I've never used it on it, so I don't know for sure. But Greninja has spikes, so he not only has access to spikes, he has stealth rocks, and he doesn't have to worry about getting rid of them on your side of the field, Zach, because he has a spinner on his side of the field. And that spinner, if he predicts it right, and because Blastoise is decently bulky, he doesn't have to worry about taking a hit. Like, he can just literally go for Foresight and then go for Rapid Spin, and then the rocks, or whatever you put on his side of the field is gone. I also really like Tornadus. Tornadus T is very, very good against this team in particular because he has it as a Zmon. Tornadus has a lot of options in terms of moves, like a lot of freaking options. When Yolder told me that he wanted to make Tornadus T his Zmon, at first I was a little skeptical. I was like, "Are you sure? That doesn't sound like too much of a good option." But then I looked at it very closely because when I used to use Tornadus, I used it a specific way. This thing has a lot of options, and the good thing is it can be physical or special, which means you have options on both sides for your Z move. You can run a physical Tornadus T with a special Z Crystal, or you can run a special Tornadus T with a physical Z Crystal. You can't predict it. That's the great part. You cannot predict what Z Crystal this will have, and if it's going to be physical or special. But like I said, there's still a lot of things that don't help Yolder because you have a Mega Latias, which the only way to get rid of that thing is with Vikavolt, but Vikavolt is really, really slow, and you're going to have to predict really, really hard with Vikavolt because of the fact that Crocodile and Togedemaru are both there. You have to deal with either going for Electric move to get stopped by Crocodile or Togedemaru, or you have to go for the either Grass or Bug, which is resisted by Heatran as well as Togedemaru. It's a lot of mind games, I feel like, is going to go into it. Celesteela is also really, really annoying because your only way to beating it is with Vikavolt or maybe Darmanitan. But the problem with Darmanitan is, like, again, you have to deal with a Heatran, but not only a Heatran, but a Gyarados. See what I mean? Both teams have things that deal with each other, but those same things are stopped by other things. It's literally the Pokemon to its core. You have to predict each other. Every turn is going to be a prediction. I feel like that's how it's going to... Maybe at the beginning of the game, it's going to be a little of, okay, so this is what's happening, this and that. But I feel like towards the middle portion of the battle, it's going to be more of, I'm going to predict him to do this, and then you're going to predict him to do that. It's going to be mind games left and right. And I feel like those are the best types of battles that you can have. And I can't wait to see what happens here because I'm very, very, very excited to see this match happen. I can't really say for sure which one is going to win. I have experience with Yodeler. I know what kind of battle he is. He does falter a little bit if he starts making wrong predictions or if he gets hacked, which happens to the best of us. So if he is able to stay calm and think things through, take your time, remember, be like Jack. Jack takes like 50 million years to make a move. You don't have to rush things. Take your time, analyze what's happening. Don't over-predict, though. Never, ever over-predict. Just think things through and take your time, and then you can do what you need to do. Zach, I rarely saw the battles last season. I'm very sorry for that. But I know for a fact you are a very good battler, and your team is very solid, barring some of your lower tier picks, because who the heck uses Oricorio? But I'm not going to judge. Okay, you got a Celesteela, which is great. You have Latias, which is Mega Latias, speaking. And then you got a Heatran. All really, really good mons. And Gyarados as a Z-Mon is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to what you two can do. This is my testing ground for you. Yodeler, I'm trying to see if you can break out of your shell. I feel like if you're able to make the correct plays, you can win this. I don't expect you to get more than a 1-0 though. In terms of Zach, like I said, I watched a couple of your battles, but I wasn't too focused last season, so I don't know how well you can play. But I feel like if you do take it, because of the team you have, I don't see anything less than maybe a 2 or a 3. Starting off the Ultra Recon Squad Conference, we have Nick versus Super Shy Guy. Now, before we get started, I just want to say, I don't know either of you two. I have no idea how you guys battle. So this is based solely on what I'm looking at in the team. I see Trick Room. That's what I see. I see Trick Room on both ends, actually. A little bit more on Nick's side, because he does have Mega Camerupt and Necrozma and Scizor and Emboar and Zygarde 50%. And Regice. I feel like you're a Trick Room team there, buddy. At least you can function as one. That's what I'm trying to say. Super Shy Guy. You can also use Trick Room, Tapu Bulu, Empoleon, Turtonator. Him on top, kind of. Probopass. Mew. Mew works in Trick Room. Obviously, you have the weird mons of Hydreigon, Lycanroc, Dusk, and Mega Beedrill, but you can do a Trick Room team here. With Mega Beedrill being your only fast mon, or Lycanroc, whichever one you decide to do. Mainly Mega Beedrill, which Mega Beedrill's the main thing I see here as a positive for you. Besides Zygarde and maybe kind of Donphan, Beedrill does a lot of work. You can do a lot of damage to Tangrowth with Fell Stinger or U-Turn, which is usually what a lot of people run on Mega Beedrill. But I'm pretty sure he has another move. I wish you could get Leech Life. You know how broken Mega Beedrill would be with Leech Life? Or Poison Jab. You know, you have those two options. Poison Jab also hits Aromatisse and does a lot of damage to Alomomola and kind of Regice, because Regice doesn't have the best physical defense. You have Drill Run for Emboar and Scizor, I guess, but you should probably switch out on Scizor because it has Bullet Punch and you have crappy defenses. Main problem I see here, though, is you don't really have much for Zygarde. Like, Tapu Bulu is probably your best bet, or trying to use Intimidate with him on top, but the problem with that is that it can also go for what is it, Coil or Dragon Dance, either one, or you don't really have much for it. I don't see your team, like, the most I can see is you maybe burning it with Mew, but if he brings Rest, then that's a wrap. Like Mew with Will-O-Wisp or Quagsire burning it with Scald. Honestly, Quagsire might have to be your answer, but the problem there is that you have to run unaware and try to do as much as you can with Ice Beam, but he could also switch because you don't, like, Quagsire being your only option is bad because then you have Tangrowth to deal with, you have Aromatisse to deal with, you have Necrozma to deal with, you have Excelgor to deal with. I just don't see a lot of options for Zygarde besides Quagsire because you don't want to use any of your other mons. Tapu Bulu doesn't really have a good Fairy type move. Hydreigion's not going to be doing much. Well, I mean, that's a lie. You have a Z Crystal on Hydreigon, so maybe that could work in your favor. But let me look that up real quick. How much does Devastating Drake do to Zygarde 50%? If you're using Hydreigon, right? Hydreigon's pretty strong. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't see you doing much with it. Do you have the Z Crystal? You do not have the Z Crystal. Thank you very much. So, Draconium Z against Zygarde 50%, who also has a Z Crystal too, which is something you should probably take into consideration. So Draco Meteor, you have a chance to kill it with that, but you barely outspeed it, and you're timid. Actually, yeah, you barely outspeed it. You're good. Never mind. Hydreigon is a very viable option, especially because you're not going to be running choice item, so you can do a lot of damage here. Like Hydreigon. Never mind. You know what? Forget I said anything else. Hydreigon's your answer. There you go. Do not screw it up. Unfortunately, though, if he doesn't get Dragon Sense up, you're basically done. So you're still back to Quagsire as a potential answer to that, and that's no bueno. That's no bueno at all. But either way, I feel like Nick has this one. No offense, Super Shy Guy. I really don't know how you guys battle yet, so I don't know how well you're gonna do. But he has a lot of answers to Hydreigon anyways. So the fact that that's really your main answer to Zygarde, which is the thing that beats pretty much your whole team, I don't see you pulling this off. Porygon 2 could take a couple hits, but if it sets up, like I said, if it sets up, it's over. You really have nothing for them. But at the same time, if Zygarde's out, if Donphan is out, you have a lot of chance to do some momentum with Mega Beedrill. But I just don't see that happening. I'm sorry. Nick, I'm going to give you the 2-0 victory in this one. Zygarde is just too good against Super Shy Guy's team. Maybe he can pull it off. I don't... Things happen. Okay, this is Pokemon. Anything can happen in this game. So I don't discount the fact that you can win Super Shy Guy. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. But I feel like Nick has the slight edge because of the fact that he has a Mon that beats pretty much your whole team, besides maybe Tapu Bulu by itself. And your best answer to it is not going to be that good because he has answers to those answers. Next up, we have the literal embodiment of second place, Jack, versus Will. Now, I don't know how Will plays. I've never seen him play. But I don't know how Jack plays. Okay, I've seen him play before. He's a very good battler. And he can pull a lot of victories from out of nowhere. He also takes 50 billion years to make a move, which sometimes is frustrating to his opponents. But that's fine. That's the game we play. I like both these teams. I really, really do. I see some wall breakers on both teams. I don't see very many walls, except for Furfrou and Gligar and Jellicent on Will's team. And then you have Gliscor, and then you have Snorlax, kind of, and Stakataka, kind of. It's a fun looking team, I'm not gonna lie. I feel a little weird seeing Stakataka on a team that doesn't revolve around Trick Room, though. I feel it's a lot better in a Trick Room setting. He does have an answer to one of, I guess, Will's best mons, which is Tapu Koko in Snorlax. That's not going to be fun for Tapu Koko, ever. unless you're running the physical set. But the problem is, if you run the physical set, then you got to deal with a glide score, and that's not fun. That's never fun. You never want to have to deal with a glide score, which is why I feel like he's going to be running more of a special set. Either that, or the best option he can do is run a mixed set, mainly focus on special attack, and maybe have like wild charge for Snorlax. But that's it. Like, that's literally your best option at that point. But you also need to be careful because Stack Attacka can do a lot of work against your team. I see a lot of options though. I do like the team combos. I don't recommend coming to this match because you have to deal with Jirachi and Gliscor and Swellow. And those aren't fun for Como. I can say that for sure. Swellow outspeeds it and kill it with a Hurricane or a Brave Bird, depending on which one you go with. Primarina literally eats up any hit you go for and kills you with a Moonblast. And Gliscor eats up anything. You literally cannot touch Gliscor. It is literally impossible to touch Gliscor. Because, like, it can just eat up any move you go for. Unless you set up to, like, +6 with Dragon Dance. But even then, you don't really have too many options there. And Jirachi can outspeed you. Kill you with a Heart Stamp or Psychic. Or Ice Punch. Or... There's a lot of moves that Jirachi gets that can take care of Como. And the problem here is that you don't really have too many answers for those things. Jellicent can maybe deal with Primarina, but the problem with that is that you have to deal with Moonblast, which, besides from Scizor, I don't see you doing much there. And the problem with Scizor after that is that you also have to deal with a Gliscor on top of the fact that you have to deal with an Infernape, which is not fun. I don't see you having too many options here. Now that I look at this team very, very solidly, you don't have a lot of things that can deal with some of these other mons. Like Infernape deals with Tauros, Aurorus, Scizor, Furfrou, Celebi, maybe Nidoqueen. And because it's a Zmon, it can definitely deal with Jellicent, and maybe even Tapu Koko. I actually don't know what kind of moveset. I don't think Infernape gets any ground type moves except for like Dig, which is a bad move to have. I don't know, and like Tapu Koko is very, very good. Don't get me wrong. Like Tapu Koko is very, very solid. You also have to run into another problem though. Mega Sharpedo no longer has to Mega Evolve first turn, which means you do have access to Speed Boost, and because of that, I feel like one Speed Boost is enough to outspeed your whole team after Mega Evolving, and Mega Sharpedo has a lot of options now in terms of move pool. So this looks like an uphill battle for Will. Tapu Koko can do some things, but again, I would recommend you run it mixed so you can hit Snorlax, because otherwise you get walled by Snorlax completely. Like, there's no joke there. I don't recommend bringing Curselax because Mega Scizor is a thing, and Arcanine is a thing, and Como is a thing. So it's not a good idea to bring Curselax. But I do recommend bringing Thick Fat, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of fire from Arcanine, maybe some things from Aurorus. This is going to be weird. It's going to be a weird match. I feel like Jack has this, though. I believe he's going to get like a 2-0 victory, because there's so many mons here that can deal with the primary threats on Will's team. Like, there's a lot. I just don't... Like, Tapu Koko is, like, your main goal to take care of a lot of these mons, but I don't see it being able to take on every possible option that Jack can bring for it. I'm pretty sure Scarf Rachi is able to deal with Tapu Koko by itself. Maybe. I don't know. And Gliscor can take an HP Ice if it's invested properly. On top of the fact that Tapu Koko doesn't have the best special attack stat either. Which means you could just Oko it with Earthquake. This is going to be tough. This is going to be a tough matchup for Will. I do think Jack has it with a 2-0. Especially if he's able to set up the mons that he needs to set up. Primarina is going to be a lot of trouble for this team. You don't have many ways to deal with it besides Celebi. But Primarina is also very bulky on the special side. It's gonna be tough. I feel like this is gonna be very, very tough for Will to do, because Celebi has to deal with not only Jirachi but Snorlax and Serena and Alolan Persian. Oh, I didn't even talk about Alolan Persian. Oh no, I'm sorry. Like, Will, I wish you the best of luck. I just don't see this being. This is gonna be a uphill battle for you. I feel like that's the way it's gonna go. I know for a fact how good Jack is. I don't know how you play, so I don't know how. Like, if you can pull it back, like, if you're behind, can you bring it back? I don't know if you can do that. But I wish you the best of luck. I wish everybody the best of luck, obviously. This is going to be very, very tough for you. Jack, you have a game plan all the time. I don't think you're going to be straying far from it. And I look forward to seeing this match. Last, in the Ultra Recon Squad conference, we have Demonic versus EAG. Now, before we get started, I want to say that Demonic drafted a couple, like, joke mons, like meme mons. His team is weird. EAG's, I really, really like what he has. I like the options that he picked. I feel like straight up, I'm going to say, I think EAG has this match. He has the potential of having a Trick Room team while also having mons that can set up. So you have Sylveon, which has access to Calm Mind. Blossom has a Z move, a Z Crystal, so you can do Quiver Dance and then whatever form of Z Crystal you want. Salazzle is very, 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 very fast. Cresselia is a very bulky mon, which besides Gengar, at most, I don't see much there. Like, Sneasel is not going to be doing anything. It's too weak to be doing damage to Cresselia. And then he has to contest with Mega Aggron, which is never fun. It's never fun to deal with a Mega Aggron. I just, looking at that too, there's not much on your team that can deal with Mega Aggron. The best you can hope for is to burn it with Rotom Wash. But that's it. Like, at most, you would have to, like, go... Buzzwole... Okay, so Buzzwole might be your answer, but I don't know if Buzzwole is enough to take you to the next level, because Buzzwole doesn't have a thing to hit Sylveon or Salazzle. No, that's a lie. You have Earthquake. You can hit Salazzle. You don't have a way to hit Sylveon, which means Sylveon's a free switch into you at all times. Like, literally at all times. Not only that, but Mantine is a thing, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Mantine might be faster than Buzzwole, unless you run okay, so Buzzwole's a little bit faster, but you don't have Stone Edge, do you? I'm pretty sure that Buzzwole doesn't get Stone Edge, which means if you don't have Stone Edge, you can't hit Mantine, and if you can't hit Mantine, Mantine's also a free switch in to Buzzwole, and it hits you on the special side. Okay, so you do have Stone Edge. I just looked it up. You do have Stone Edge, which means you can potentially hit it, but you also have to risk the chance of missing, which is never fun. And you're still not going to be doing that much damage to Mantine anyways. Like, if I look it up right now, and I click in the calculator, and I say Stone Edge versus Mantine, you don't kill it before it kills you. If they have Air Slash, which they're supposed to. Air Slash is a guaranteed OHKO, whereas Stone Edge is a 2-hit KO. If you're lucky. Because you have to hit twice. If you hit twice. But Mantine can kill you in one hit. So you could also, but like, you can also do some other things. Like, it's not like officially like you have to go for Stone Edge. Like, he does have other options. I think he has Rock Slide as well. If it doesn't, I mean, I'm pretty sure he has other rock type moves. So it's not completely out of the way, but again, you still don't do anything to Sylveon that can, like, scare it away. He might get something. I don't know. I don't remember its moveset right now because I don't think I've ever used Buzzwole. It might be an option. Like I said, I don't remember if it gets anything to hit Sylveon. But if it doesn't, then Sylveon's a free switch in there, and so is potentially Mantine. Or Mantine could be like a check, not really a counter. But like, again, then you run into Mega Aggron, which is just annoying. It's an annoying Pokemon that can do so much against your team. You know what? I take it back. I'm looking. I just saw it. You have Incineroar with a Z move, and I'm thinking Incineroar might be able to do a lot of work against Aggron. I'm gonna calc that real quick. We have Incineroar. You run physical, right? Okay, so against Mega Aggron. I don't know how much. You could also run special. It's not like base 80, very very mediocre. So let's see. If you have a Z Crystal against, I think you have. Do you have Flare Blitz? I don't even know if it gets Flare Blitz. If it doesn't get Flare Blitz, then never mind. I'm completely wrong. But if it does get Flare Blitz, that might help it out. It does get Flare Blitz. Okay, perfect. So if we have Flare Blitz here, because you're faster as well, which helps you a lot. If you have Flare Blitz and it's a Z Crystal, okay, so you do 65 to 72%. You are able to take a hit from this thing, which is great. Like Earthquake is a 2 KO, but like I said, you're faster than it. So if you get rid of the Z Crystal, you also do 41 to 48%, which means the guaranteed 2 KO. Which means you'll be good. You should be good. You'll be able to do that. Okay, you know what? I'll take it back. I feel like if you have that option, and like I said, I don't know if Buzzwole has anything to hit Sylveon, but at that point, you're literally going to have to do a lot of prediction for it. Demonic might be able to get this. He might. I feel like he can do this. Because I didn't even realize that he had an Incineroar there. I probably should have looked at that. And it also helps if he's able to burn it with Rotom Wasp, which can also deal with Mega Aggron a little bit. Like, it's not going to be doing a lot of damage to it, but it can, like, stall it out a little bit. The one mon I don't recommend him bringing, though. He does have Mega Altaria, but he has to deal with Dragalge, Mega Aggron, Sylveon, Alolan Muck, and Salazzle, and Mamoswine. 5-6 mons that do not treat Mega Altaria with any respect whatsoever. Like at all. Which also brings up the case, like, can Mamoswine can deal with Incineroar? This is a toss-up. You know what? I think this is a toss-up. I really don't know anymore. There's so many options here that it's so hard. Plus the fact that I was really out of it last season. I don't even remember how good Demonic plays because it's been a while since he's played. Or since I've seen him play. And I didn't really get to see much of EAG's battles last season. So I don't know for sure how this matchup is going to work because I don't know these players very well. I feel like either way, it's going to be like a 1-0 victory on either side, no matter who it is. I just can't pinpoint which one it is anymore. I'm looking at these mons again and like really looking, and there's a lot of stuff in here that's just weird. Like Mega Altaria should not come. That one is for certain. You don't even need it, realistically speaking. Which means you also can't bring Shiinotic because Shiinotic is gonna die to everything. There's a lot of things in here. Wow. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave it as a toss-up. 1-0 victory on either side. That's the best way I could do this because I'm trying. I don't know these people's battle style, so I don't know how well they can go through during the match. But I'm interested to see what can happen here. Alright, and our cross-conference match is going to be between Zen of Rainbow Rocket and Infinite of Ultra Recon Squad. Now, Infinite has been in playoffs before. He actually won Season 5. Zen has always been on the cusp up there. He's a very good battler. He just has a couple unfortunate things that happen here and there. But I do want to say, I love Zen's team. I love it. I love his team. He has Landorus T as a Zmon, Conkeldurr, Silvally as a Zmon, which means it could be any type with any Z Crystal, do whatever it wants to do. Z, Parting Shot is awesome. Kamala, one of my favorite Pokemon, actually my favorite Pokemon of Gen 7. Rapid Spin support, and it has a lot of moves now. It got a lot of freaking moves this gen, or this second half of the gen, which is amazing. Roselia, whatever, it's his tier 5 mon. Charizard X, which I don't like the Pokemon, but I always say it's very, very, very good. Magearna, okay, this thing is busted. Araquanid, which still relatively well. It's not bad. Meowstic Male, so prankster. Haunter, whatever. Throwaway fast ghost type, I guess. Spin blocker. Zebstrika, decently fast Volt Switcher. Then you look at Infinite. He has Kyurem B as a Zmon. Kyurem B. What? Kyurem B. Alright, that's Starmie, one of the best rapid spinners. Virizion as a Zmon. Has a lot of options, physical, special. Great to throw off your opponent. Seismitoad, decent wall, gets rocks. And a water type sponge. Because, I mean, look at that Zen Araquanid. Doesn't really go for water type moves very often. So it's going to be kind of neutered. But Absol. Sure. I don't even know what regular Absol does anymore. Mega Manectric is very, 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 very fast. It's a very, very, very fast Pokemon. But he has something with Zebstrika, which is not fun. Klefki, annoying as hell. Spikes, Thunder Wave, Toxic, everything. Ugh, annoying. But very, very, very good. Nidoking, Life Orb, Sheer Force, does a lot of damage. You can also run Choice Scarf if you really want to. Togekiss, annoying as hell. Literally, annoying as hell. Paraflinching Shenanigans, alongside Klefki. Alolan Marowak literally shuts down Zebstrika. Completely. There's no way around it. And then you have Aerodactyl. Very fast rock setter. That's the best way I can think of Aerodactyl. These two teams are very, very solid. Like, they have these weird Pokemon in there that are kind of throwaways. But if you look at their main, like, what their main mons are going to be, there's a lot of options here that you just look at it and you go, wow, that's a lot. And that's crazy. Like, these mons are going to be a lot of work. For Zen, Landorus, T, Conkeldurr, Savali, Komala, Charizard X, Araquanid, Magearna, and Meowstic Male are all potential options here. Because from looking at Zen's team, besides Absol, he doesn't really have anything to stop Meowstic, who can set up screens like that. Alolan Marowak is not fast enough to deal with it, and I'm pretty sure Meowstic Male also gets Shadow Ball. If it doesn't, that'd be stupid, because Meowstic Female gets it. And I believe most of the movesets are the same anyways. It's just that Meowstic Female gets a lot of more options, and then Meowstic Male gets a lot more status. But either way, they both have really, really good Zmons. I love the Zmons on both teams. Especially for the fact that Silvally can literally parting shot against everything. Nothing is sacred in front of Silvally, which is crazy. Magearna, I don't see too many options for Magearna here, besides like Nidoking, and maybe Alolan Marowak if you're able to like get in safely. I'm pretty sure you're able to take at least one hit from Magearna. It's not really like a big deal. And like maybe an Earth Power Z move from Kyurem B, but like, dang, Magearna is a very, very, very good Pokemon. But do you have Charizard X? Which is kind of stopped by Seismitoad, as well as, I mean, Starmie can do a lot of things there because you can paralyze it with Thunder Wave. And Togekiss is going to be annoying. And I'm pretty sure Aerodactyl is still faster. I don't think it's still faster at +1. But if you run a Choice Scarf Aerodactyl with Stealth Rocks, then you pretty much kill Zardex with no problems. Which is another thing. Because he has a Charizard, he needs to have Komala most of the matches because he needs defog. Or, I mean, a Rapid Spin, I was going to say. But Landorus does get defog, so it's not completely necessary for Komala to always be there, but he does need some way to get hazards off the field. Because Charizard doesn't appreciate that. On top of the fact that he turns into Charizard X, he's going to have to deal with spikes as well, which is never bueno. Ever. At all, for any reasons whatsoever. But he does have the ability to set up rocks on infinite sides, causing him to either go for defog or rapid spin. This is going to be a very, very like intense match. I love these two teams. Magearna is scary, but so is Kyurem, and Mega Manectric. Of course, has to worry about Zebstrika because it does have Lightning Rod. But either way, if you predict it right, you're still going to be hitting it with like what? Overheat, and it's still going to do a lot of damage, and then after that you can switch out to like Nidoking or something like that. Oh boy, or even Marowak. You can switch into Marowak because Marowak has Lightning Rod, and you can resist any other move that Zebstrika might have. This is going to be a fun match. I do want to say that if you don't have a lot of priority on your Team Infinite, besides like Sucker Punch on Absol, and I'm pretty sure Sucker Punch is not gonna kill Landorus. If he sets up an agility, I think that's a game. Because at that point, you don't even need Sword Dance. You literally have Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Fly to kill Virizion, and then you're good. You kill everything else. I mean, you can be annoying with Klefki if you have like what is that one move? Magnetize, but like he kills Kyurem with Stone Edge. I mean, I guess Seismitoad is also going to be kind of a problem. I guess keep Seismitoad alive for that Landorus. And be careful, be careful of Roselia, because that thing is gonna Giga Drain you and you're gonna die. Or Kamal actually gets Woodhammer. I forgot about that. Oh, this match is gonna be great. I'm like this is probably gonna be my favorite match out of all of them, because I know both of these players are really really good when they want to be. So like I'm looking forward to this match. It's probably gonna be the highlight. I feel like whoever gets the momentum first is probably going to win, which means I'm expecting this, either side is going to be a 3-0 victory. I'm calling it a 3-0. If Landorus sets up, I feel like Zen's going to win. If Kyurem B is able to do what he needs to do, I think Infinite's going to win, especially with Klefki around. If Klefki is able to help Kyurem B, it's over. I feel like at that point, it's over. If Klefki has to set up its layers, and then Kyurem just needs to kill what he needs to kill. Manectric Substrika, I don't see it coming anyways, which means Manectric is kind of a free volt switching machine, because you're not going to switch in Landorus on Manectric, because it usually runs HP Ice. And you're not going to switch in Magearna, because it also runs Overheat. So this is gonna be interesting. I'm very excited to see this match. Well, that's gonna be it for this week 1 preview / whatever the heck you guys want to call it. Like, I don't know what name you want to give it. I'm just gonna call them previews, because that's what I used to call them, and that's what I'm gonna keep calling them. Hope you guys enjoyed. Discuss in the comments. Feel free to call me out and be like, no, I'm gonna win because of this. Talk shit. That's what this league is for. Just have fun, talk shit, do whatever you want. As long as you don't cheat, we're good. Best of luck to all the players. I'm looking forward to these matches, because I'm going to be very, very attentive this season for tier list changes next season, because there's going to be a lot of changes depending on how you guys play. All right? Best of luck.